Well, we've reached that point in the forum which we'd like to open the floor up to the audience. If there is anybody in the audience that would like to pose a question to the candidates, please take your go ahead up to the podium and ask the question. Okay.
Yes. There's a gentleman there.
All right.
This podium?
Yes, sir. No, I guard this.
Hi, good morning. My name's Greg Kidd. Don, you just took me from another place to when you said lack of educated workforce. I know your point there was lack of masters and stuff like that, but I am, quite frankly, tired of hearing us in this state of Maine being put down. When we say people are lack of educated workforce, why would anybody want to come here with another business when we have our politicians, current politicians, not just you now, but time after time saying we have a lack of an educated workforce? I can tell you, I travel throughout the country. There are other places that are getting businesses and their education system, K through 12, doesn't even come close to ours. And the other point you made is transportation. I travel throughout Maine. I've been in Aroostook County in April when potholes on Route 1 can eat your car. Why? Lack of funding for basic maintenance, okay? And we've heard for years and years that we can't fund it, we keep borrowing from here, going there. We need to maintain what we have versus trying to get these other places. Oh, we should be doing this, we need rail here. We can't even maintain our roads. I travel on them every day. They're not good.
I agree.
So what is your solution to funding the roads? That's my question.
Okay. There is a bond proposal. The Appropriations Committee is working on a bond package to fix road infrastructure, and the bond package is supposed to be ready for us when we go back next week or the week after.
Yes.
So that we can look at what they're proposing for road infrastructure. I will support a bond package for road infrastructure. However, the executive, the governor's office has said that he may not support that. That is the problem. That is the problem. The legislature has said that they will support it, but it's the governor's office that is the roadblock, if you will.
Okay, that's
what we're hearing now, but that may change when we get up there.
That is current. We have been short funding highway improvements, road improvements. We've been collecting taxes through the gases and everything. We've been short funding this, not just now, and I've read about what the governor has threatened there to do with the bond package. But this has been ongoing. I'm talking 15 years ago, going up the county, hitting potholes that big. How are we going to have our potatoes delivered down when the potholes are eating the truck?
Right.
So that's long term. The other point you made about educated workforce, a friend of mine in Old Orchard Beach, his daughter graduated from Old Orchard Beach High School. She got accepted at Eastern Maine Community College in the radiology tech program. There's such a shortage of instructors that she's on a 2-year waiting list as there is at Southern Maine Tech College. So she is looking to go out of state. So you talk about the brain drain and people leaving Maine, how are we going to keep them? Why aren't we saying, okay, Eastern Maine Community College, Southern Maine Community College of the nurses, my wife teaches pre-nursing students that dosage and calculation, 2 or 3 year waiting list. Why aren't we expanding those right now to meet the need versus having our students go out of state? That's the both of you.
I just want to go back to the gas, the road problem just for a minute. As more and more cars become hybrids, and you have these electric cars, the gas efficiency rating continues to go up, and so the gas tax that we accustomedly see, you know, people aren't buying as much gas, they're not traveling as much, so that is impacting our gas revenues too. We're not seeing, you know, maybe 2 years ago our gas, when, you know, people were traveling more, and the gas guzzlers were still out there, and the people that were sitting in marinas and where they're taking their boats out, they're not, last year, a lot of boats didn't go out. They were sitting in the marinas. So we saw a decrease in revenues, but also with these hybrids and these electric cars, that's having an impact on decreasing revenues on the gas tax. So the Transportation Committee had come to the Taxation Committee asking us to put a tax on auto parts or some other, looking for another source of revenues to fund roads. So we're trying to find other sources of revenues to fund road repairs.
Okay, Linda?
But we need to be careful too, because we don't want to, they don't want to tax things we're not taxing now, because it all comes back to you and me.
Yes.
So we have to be careful. But as far as the nursing issue and the radiology things, there's always been, lately, we're always cutting education funding, and programs that aren't very popular or where they don't have high enrollments are getting cut. Now, I don't know if that particular program is the enrollments or the demand for those kinds of specifically programs are high, or what the program, I know that. But again, they're cutting programs in order to save money. I can't answer if that's specifically.
Okay, I'd like to ask Linda for her input on this question also.
I hope I get 15 or 20 minutes to
Okay.
talk to nonstop. Thank you very much. As far as the transportation, I also support the bond on that, and I've always supported all of the bonds that have come down. The bond that we're having now is not enough, but it's better than nothing at this point. If the Democrats back away from the table now and say that we're not going to support it because it's not enough, then we're going to get nothing. So again, it comes back to the compromise. If the governor vetoes it, then we walk away. We're only going to be up there for a few days with nothing. Transportation bonds are really jobs bonds. It puts people back to work, and that's why I always support a transportation bond, because it means jobs. Jobs for the construction workers that are down there, jobs for Shaw Brothers, Dayton Sand and Gravel. We have so many people that work, Grondon, these large companies that are hiring now, and we need to put these types of people back to work for it. So a transportation bond is not just about the pothole, it's about that person standing there with a flag in his hand that's supporting his family and paying taxes and keeping up the mortgage on the house. So we definitely need a transportation bond to go with. And that's one of the reasons that if you've read any of the articles or interviews that I've given in the last couple of weeks, one of my goals that I've stated is that I'm going to advocate very strongly to be on the Transportation Committee this time. The Transportation Committee has its own budget. They work separately from the Appropriations Committee. They're the ones who are able to really allocate the money that's going on. They're the ones who know about it. A good example would be last year when Aroostook County, there was a problem with the rail getting goods up to Aroostook County. Very last minute, that went through legislation. We appropriated the money, we did the bonds, we got it up to Aroostook County. What I find lots of times is that the votes in Augusta, it's extremely north-south. It's almost like a civil war in the state of Maine, and there has a tendency to spend a lot of money in northern Maine, and I want to make sure that I'm on that Transportation Committee to get that money down to southern Maine, because it is not just roads, it's the jobs. The people are down in the southern Maine, and we need those jobs, we need to work on it. So I'm going to advocate very hard to get on the Transportation Committee to make sure that we get our fair share down here, and maybe more than our fair share, because I think we've been shortchanged a number of times over the years when it comes to transportation bonds.
I agree with it. It is a job. It is job. It is jobs all the way, people working, and our infrastructure is falling apart.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, this concludes the forum for today, and I want to thank LindaValentino and Don Pilon for taking part, and we look forward to seeing more of both of you.
Were there closing statements?
Yes, I'm sorry. Are there closing remarks? Linda, would you like to go first?
Yes, thank you very much. I think in closing, again, I want to thank everybody for being here. I feel that my record has spoken for itself, the constituent work that I've done, the work that I've done with local businesses. I work extremely hard. I think one of the things that, if you asked anybody at the State House, what is the one quality or the one uniqueness about Linda? Everybody, from an elected official to a staff member to the security forces to Judy, who does the night cleaning at night, they would say that it is my vast dedication to what I am doing up there. I have a reputation for reading all of the bills, for being a very strong debater on the floor, for keeping all of my information. I'm probably the only legislator, I know I'm the only legislator up there who brings her own bookcase and sets up her own bookcase in the committee rooms. And I have my own filing system. I keep all of my files, I keep all of the information. Many times clerks of the committee or chairs of the committee will look to me and say, Linda, do you have a copy of this? And I will pull it out. It's not just a matter of keeping information, but it's knowing how to utilize it. I save all of that. I know it. I have an institutional memory that is phenomenal. I have all of my files, and I will tell you when somebody comes to testify before one of my committees and they see me go over to the bookcase behind me and pull out a file, they know I'm going to pull out a record of what they said 2 or 3 or 4 or 6 years ago, and why are they changing their position now, because I've got their written testimony from then. I think it's extremely difficult sometimes to toot your own horn, and lots of times it's better to hear from other people nice things about you. So with that, I would like to close with something that was actually taken from the legislative record. And the legislative record records everything from our floor debates. And this was a floor debate that I had on a bill, LD 1054, which was on PAC reform. And at the time, I was the sole person coming out of committee who wanted the bill. I got a lot of people to vote for it on the floor, because I can do that on the floor. And these are the remarks from my Republican chair of the committee that he put onto the record that day during the House debate. And this is Representative Bolio from Auburn. And I quote, he says, "You know, whether you speak before Representative Valentino or after Representative Valentino, you have the potential of getting yourself into a lot of trouble. And there is no question about it that she comes prepared, and more than often she is extraordinarily hungry and passionate, and in this particular case loaded with information that is going to blow me away and probably anybody else in this body. The vote of the committee was ought not to pass, consisting of 11 members, and she fights valiantly against those 11 members, and I'm proud of her for doing so. She's done that before, and I can't say enough about the bravery which she exhibits in any vote that she takes and in any presentation that she makes. I have the highest regard for the sponsor of this measure, and I have immense respect for her institutional knowledge and her interest in the subjects." And that was quoted from a Republican chair of my committee. And I think that was very nice, and I was very pleased to hear that from the opposition, to show that we do work in a bipartisan manner. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Don, your closing remarks?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for hosting this. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to constituents all the time. As glamorous as it is to be at the State House, it's also very important to be home and interacting with constituents. You know, being at the State House is fun, and it's very good work. You know, you get to pass bills and sit in your big leather chair and talk to people and work bills, but the real work is here at home. And I get a lot of satisfaction working with people that need help in my district. And in the past 8 years, I've had a lot of good interaction. I've helped a lot of people in my district with a variety of issues. And I've really, truly enjoyed that part of my work. And I hope, if I'm elected, that if I'm elected to the Senate, that I will continue to have that opportunity to serve more people in District 5. The work that I've done in my personal life as a result of being in the State House, I've had the experience of running a nonprofit. I started a youth development program called the First Tee Program. It's a national organization for underserved children. It was a golf program for inner city children to teach them life skills building program. It teaches them really core values that they learn in their life, and they use golf as the vehicle to do that. And I started with $26 in my budget, and I started with 5 children. The City of Portland gave me 8 acres of land adjacent to their municipal golf course. I built a 4-hole par 3 golf course. I raised over $500,000, and we ended actually I gave the program to the Maine State Golf Association 2 years ago. We were reaching 5,000 children.
That's remarkable, Don.
So that is just some of the work that I've done as a result of my connections in the State House, and I hope that I will have the opportunity to continue to do good work in this community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you both for joining us this morning. And again, we do look forward to seeing more of you in the near future.